So Jameis Winston, we're back at it again. This is a guy that's been sitting in fantasy football minds for 8-9 years now. Was it 2015 when he was a rookie? He's one of those guys that you're going to get games like this. You're going to get those, 3, 4, 5 touchdown games like we've seen him do. He can move the ball. He's a guy that can lead a high-powered offense. So he should run this offense much better than what we saw with Deshaun Watson for the rest of the season. I mean, obviously, game one beat Baltimore, and he looked good doing it. I think that what this tells us in fantasy football is that anything's possible. We're seeing reemergence of guys like Darnold and Winston, and guys that have shown glimpses at times. I think what you can expect for fantasy football for the rest of the season from him is startable numbers every week. If you're in a one quarterback league, I mean, he could be your starter if you had a guy ahead of him that was hurt. He could certainly do that for you for the rest of the year. In 2 QB leagues, he should be a weekly starter, at least at this point, just based on what we've been seeing, some of these rookies and some of these guys that haven't been super productive, and you want to play the matchups. I mean, Winston's going to be, he's a veteran, but only 30 years old, can move the ball, big arm, willing to take shots. They have enough weapons, even with Amari Cooper's trade, to be a very productive offense. So if I were you, I would certainly be okay going after him if you're a team that's contending that needs quarterback help, or a team that is looking for out the quarterback that feels like they could be contending. If you're a team, I have one league where I'm rebuilding, but I had him on the roster hoping that maybe something would happen and give him some opportunity for some play time. Obviously, I didn't necessarily want a guy to get hurt like he did, like Deshaun did, but I stashed him knowing that Deshaun's had injury trouble. I am now trying to flip him. I'll take a second. I'll take a young player in a pick, or a young player in a couple later picks. This is a deeper league, so there's a lot more bench spots, a lot more roster spots. So I'm definitely looking to acquire as much as I can for a guy if I'm trading him, and go from there. What this tells you about his skill position players is they're all going to be of use. David Njoku will be very nice. Cedric Tillman, we've been seeing productive with Jameis so far. They seem to have a good connection. Jerry Jeudy's very relevant and reliable. Elijah Moore. I mean, it's crazy with the Amari Cooper trade how well they were still able to move the ball, because Jerry Jeudy's a solid route runner, is a solid receiver. Elijah Moore, same thing. Cedric Tillman's a big play threat waiting to happen. He just needed an opportunity. So this offense is definitely something I'd want a piece of. Chubb's going to keep working back from the injury. I mean, the sky's the limit for this offense, and in the division they're in, you could argue that they could push for the second best team, and if they make a little run, maybe make some noise. But in fantasy football terms, it doesn't really matter as long as their offense produces for your players. So in terms of Cedric Tillman, I would definitely be targeting him, but I'd be mindful, especially, with all of these skill position players. If Stefanski doesn't turn things around, you could see this team change over a lot of this staff, because he's had plenty of time and nothing's really transpired for him. So I would not certainly be looking to buy into guys thinking that, that they're going to have long-term success. They could, potentially. Tillman would be the guy that, Tillman and Elijah Moore are the guys that are young enough that could, survive coaching changes, scheme changes, things like that. So Tillman and Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's the guy I traded for last week in one of my 16-team leagues, just to throw him on my bench because of the Amari Cooper trade and see what happens. And he produced well. I mean, I didn't play him, but he was very productive. Same with Tillman. If you can get Tillman for a reasonable price, late second, third, something like that, why not? I mean, Tillman was a very productive college player, so he certainly has the opportunity to be a big play threat here, and this team needs that, and Jameis has the arm to make that happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this Cleveland offense. I think it's definitely more enjoyable to watch with Jameis under center, because he's willing to take some risks and do some things, and and he's one of those guys that you just root for. He's enjoyable to watch as a player, and this offense is going to move things much better and be more productive for fantasy. I'm out.